Do you find yourself constantly making excuses, holding back from living the life you truly desire? What if I told you that the ancient teachings of Buddhism hold the key to breaking free from these excuses and unlocking your fullest potential? In this video, we'll dive into powerful strategies that will help you destroy every excuse and live your best life, starting today. 1. Recognize and own your excuses. The first step in getting rid of any excuse is to admit that you have one. Being aware is one of the most important ideas in Buddhism. Before we can live our best lives, we need to be aware of the reasons we give for not doing things. A lot of the time, these reasons come from wanting to avoid pain, being afraid of failing, or not wanting to take responsibility for our actions. When we are aware and honest with ourselves, we can start to see excuses for what they really are. Walls we build to hide from the truth and the work that change requires. It's only when we see our excuses that we can start to own them. Owning something is important because it gives us the power to change. We understand that we are not victims of our situations, but rather active players in our lives. For example, if we keep saying, "I don't have time," we should think about how we're spending our time and what we're prioritizing. Are we not working on our goals while spending hours on social media or TV? When we become aware of these patterns, we can start to make choices that align with our true goals. Taking responsibility for our excuses also means understanding where they came from. Do they stem from the past, societal standards, or a lack of belief in ourselves? Buddhism encourages us to deeply examine ourselves, question our feelings and thoughts, and discover the underlying causes of our behavior. By doing this, we often realize that making excuses is a way to sabotage ourselves. Once we understand this, we can choose to stop making excuses and start living the life we truly want. Remember, we have the power to change, and the first step is taking responsibility for how our world came to be. 2. Set clear, achievable goals. To eliminate all excuses, the second lesson is to set clear goals that you can actually reach. In Buddhism, the concept of right intention teaches us to create plans that align with our values and objectives. To live our best life, we need a clear vision of what that life looks like and the steps we need to take to get there. By setting clear, measurable, and achievable goals, while also challenging ourselves to grow, we can maintain focus and direction. When our goals are too vague or overly ambitious, we set ourselves up for failure and frustration, which makes it easier to resort to excuses. People often say, "I can't do this," or "it's too hard," when their goals lack clarity or seem unattainable. Instead, we should break down our big goals into smaller, manageable tasks. This approach makes the journey less overwhelming and provides a sense of accomplishment as we achieve each milestone. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of patience and perseverance. Setting achievable goals allows us to make steady progress without becoming discouraged or giving up. We learn to value the journey and celebrate the small victories along the way. Being honest about our strengths and weaknesses is also part of setting clear goals. While we should have ambitious goals, we must also be realistic about what we can accomplish. Being truthful with ourselves prevents us from setting ourselves up for failure and helps us create a plan that is both challenging and attainable. When we know exactly what our goals are and why we're pursuing them, there is no room for excuses. 3. Adopt a growth mindset. The third lesson is to adopt a growth mindset. Buddhists believe that everything is always changing. This is known as the concept of impermanence. When we apply this understanding to self-improvement, it can be incredibly empowering. People with a growth mindset believe that they can enhance their skills and knowledge through effort and dedication. It's about embracing challenges, learning from feedback, and finding value in failure. With a growth mindset, we stop trying to prove ourselves and instead focus on improving ourselves. People with a fixed mindset, on the other hand, often make excuses because they believe their abilities are set in stone and that failure reflects their worth. This mindset makes them afraid to try new things, take risks, and often leads to giving up quickly. A growth mindset, however, encourages us to view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. It helps us see that our current abilities don't define our potential and that we can improve with effort. Buddhism also teaches us to detach from outcomes and focus on the process. With a growth mindset, we learn to enjoy the journey of self-improvement rather than being fixated on immediate results. This shift in perspective reduces the fear of failure, which in turn reduces the likelihood of making excuses to avoid it. When we believe in our capacity to grow and change, we become more resilient and less likely to give up when faced with challenges. We stop seeing mistakes as failures and start viewing them as opportunities to learn. This mindset not only helps us eliminate excuses, but also empowers us to continue striving to be our best selves. Remember, having a growth mindset means recognizing that we can achieve anything we set our minds to, and that every step forward is progress, no matter how small. 4. Surround yourself with positive influences. The fourth lesson is to surround yourself with positive influences. Along with the Buddha and the Dharma teachings, the Sangha, or community, is one of the 3 jewels in Buddhism. This highlights the importance of being in an environment that supports personal and spiritual growth. To eliminate all excuses and live our best lives, it's crucial to be mindful of the people and environments we choose to surround ourselves with. Negative influences, such as toxic relationships, harmful media, or unsupportive surroundings, can drain our energy, demotivate us, and make it easier to fall back on excuses. For example, if we're constantly around people who complain or make excuses, it's much easier for us to adopt the same mindset. On the other hand, positive influences can inspire and motivate us, helping us stay focused on our goals and maintain a positive outlook. In Buddhism, we're taught to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, not only towards others, but also towards ourselves. By placing ourselves in environments with positive people, we create a space that nurtures these qualities. It's important to support one another through challenges and celebrate each other's successes. In such an environment, it's easier to eliminate excuses and remain committed to our growth. Positive influences also help us stay accountable. When we have friends, family, or a community that believes in us, we're more likely to keep our commitments and achieve our goals. Remember, we can choose the influences we follow. By surrounding ourselves with positivity, we make it easier to grow, succeed, and live our best lives. 5. Develop a plan and stick to it. The 5th lesson is to develop a plan and stick to it. The Eightfold Path in Buddhism is a structured guide for moral and mental development. Its purpose is to free individuals from attachments and delusions, serving as a roadmap to enlightenment. Similarly, if we want to live our best lives, we need a plan that keeps us focused and on track. Without a plan, it's easy to get lost, sidetracked, or discouraged, even if we start with the best intentions. A well-thought-out plan helps us stay organized and gives us direction. It allows us to prioritize, use our resources wisely, and track our progress. When we have a clear sense of what needs to be done and why, it becomes less tempting to make excuses. But having a plan is not enough. We need to follow through with it. This requires discipline, persistence, and a strong sense of purpose. In Buddhism, practicing mindfulness helps us stay present and focused, enabling us to carry out our plans. By being mindful, we can monitor our actions and ensure they align with our goals. Mindfulness also helps us recognize when we're straying off course and make adjustments before we start making excuses. Adaptability is also key to sticking to a plan. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected challenges will arise. In Buddhism, we're taught the importance of letting go of rigid expectations and being open to change. When obstacles arise, we shouldn't give up or make excuses. Instead, we should view them as opportunities to reevaluate and adjust our plan. Remember, a plan is only a guide. Our dedication and adaptability are what will determine our success. By creating a plan and sticking to it, we eliminate excuses and pave a clear path to living our best life. 6. Learn from failure. The sixth lesson is to learn from failure. The Buddhist concept of beginner's mind encourages us to approach every situation with openness, free from judgment or preconceived notions. This mindset is crucial when it comes to failure. To live our best life, we need to stop viewing failure as a setback or a reflection of our worth, but instead as an opportunity to learn and grow. People often make excuses because they're afraid of failure. We might avoid trying new things or taking risks because we don't want to make mistakes or fall short. However, Buddhism teaches us that failure is a natural part of life and an essential component of growth. When we approach failure with a beginner's mind, we allow it to teach us something valuable. If we fail, it's because we've encountered a lesson that can help us improve. Instead of hiding from our mistakes or blaming external factors, we should own our actions and ask ourselves, what went wrong? What did we learn from this? What can we do differently next time? By asking these questions, we can use failure as a tool for growth rather than a hindrance. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of resilience, staying strong and persistent even in the face of adversity. Like a tree that bends in the wind but doesn't break, we must learn to adapt and bounce back from setbacks. When we do this, we stop letting failure define us and start using it to propel us forward. Remember, failure is not the end, but a stepping stone to success. By learning from our mistakes and staying resilient, we eliminate excuses and continue moving towards our best life. In the end, the key to living your best life lies in destroying the excuses that hold you back. Through the wisdom of Buddhism, we've explored 6 powerful lessons to help you recognize, own, and eliminate those excuses. Whether it's setting clear goals, adopting a growth mindset, or learning from failure, these strategies will empower you to take control of your life and create the future you desire. So, what are you waiting for? The path to your best life is right in front of you. Take the first step, destroy every excuse, and start living the life you were meant to live. The time for change is now.